Okay, so I was thinking when you were talking about comparing it to Christianity, the seething transgender activist who's listening to this right now, like a tea kettle, is like, yeah, but that's not proven. This is science, right? Because they probably have science that they think backs them up. So what's the science that they would say they got backing them up?
They really don't. They don't have science is
Nothing?
the thing. I mean,
but they always say they do.
I know, but there's some doctors. I interviewed a lot of doctors for the book, and if you look at either, this is what they don't have.
The right doctors.
Well, kinda. I mean, here's the thing. They some of the studies that their work is based on, and I had to rely. Look, I'm a journalist. I'm not a doctor, and I'm certainly not a scientist. So I had to interview a lot of experts.
Oh, you can't say that.
I'm a scientist.
So I had to interview a lot, and they would tell me, like, look at the evidence quality, and they would show me, take me through it, and why. Here's what we don't have. They often say the science shows that the child will be suicidal if we don't affirm. Well, here's what they don't have proof of. They don't have proof that gender dysphoria causes suicidality, and they don't have proof that transition is a cure for it, or that social or medical transition. So agreeing with the kids, letting them change their pronouns or whatever, or medical transition. They don't have proof of either. All we know is that there is a population of girls who claim to have gender dysphoria who also have very high rates of anxiety and depression. We see that with trans kids, that there are very high rates of, when I say transgender identified teenagers. There are a lot of other mental health issues, but we don't know where the causality is here, or, what's causing suicidality, and we don't know what the cure is. That hasn't been proven yet. So before you start injecting your kid with 40 times the amount of testosterone her body would normally handle, it's worth asking a few questions. And that's all the book says. It doesn't say never transition, and it doesn't say transition should be banned or anything like that. I don't believe that. But it does say there's a lot of questions here we should be asking.
The weird thing is that there's all these girls all of a sudden identifying as transgender, but couldn't you also say that that's because now it's like more socially accepted?
All along, these all secretly were
Oh, yes. Okay.
Like,
great question. So I've been asked that before, and I think it's a good question, and it's something that I had to consider as a journalist. You have to look at that. I didn't set out to prove something. I set out to investigate the phenomenon. And I think there's a really good answer to that. And one of the best answers to that is, yes, there's more acceptance today. But if what we're seeing is just a return to a normal base rate of transgender identification in the population, then we would be seeing women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s coming out as transgender, now that we're in a more, accepting society. But we're not. We're seeing the same population that falls for every other hysteria. Teenage girls, adolescent girls. That's who we're seeing suddenly come out as transgender.
Hey everybody, Kyle here from the Babylon Bee. I hope you really enjoyed that video. If you did, head on over to our YouTube channel because there's a lot more where that came from. We do animation, funny sketches, we have a weekly podcast, we interview a lot of crazy and fun people. So go check it out, hit subscribe, like, share, comment, interact with us on social because we feed on your love. And we might even reply and interact with you back. So check it out. Thanks a lot for watching.